I do
You've
love
got
this. Look at how organic. And again, if we didn't say master thief, look at all this stuff.
yeah,
One is a fellow thief. That is an
yep.
organic way because you're not saying I'm a thief. You're describing what's around me. So you're saying, "Oh, look, that's one of my fellow thieves." That means I'm a thief
I'm a thief.
because he's a fellow thief.
Yep,
So like that's what we're looking for. We're looking for these just really organic ways because what you're doing is teaching the reader that I'm a thief.
yep,
But you don't have to teach the reader I'm a thief by going, I'm a thief. You
yeah.
can,
You
there's
can just
all these
show the
other
reader.
ways that you can do it.
Yeah.
Releasing your inner dragon. All right. Welcome again to another live edit where some brave soul has sent us a piece of their lovingly constructed manuscript for us to not lovingly rip it apart. So, Marie, you're going to pull up the thing.
I am going
As
to share. This is actually a resubmission, just to say we have looked at this before and it has been edited. So,
okay. I
yeah,
always like it when that happens. But
yeah,
just to do our disclaimer at the beginning, as we always do, these are mine and Marie's opinions. Most of what we're going to talk about is subjective, and subjective means you're right. So if you disagree with us, you're right because it's subjective. And if we disagree with you, we're right because it's subjective. This is all in the hopes of having you guys see the way we look at things, how we look at just ways to crafting prose to make it have more impact on the readers and so on and so forth. If you would like to be a part of this, send us an email. The email address is down below. It's releasingyourinnerdragon at gmail.com. Make sure you say that this is for critiquing so that we can do it in that pile because we are going to hopefully before the end of the year have enough submissions to the first page reads to do a first page reads episode. And what that is where you send us the first page. And we're not critiquing it. What we're doing is we act like we are industry people and we kind of tell you where the industry would probably stop reading and reject it and why. And again, we're not industry people, but we have the experience with it. So we're just kind of helping you see your writing maybe in a light of how they're going to see it so that you can try to avoid some pitfalls and everything like that. But do make sure you put in there, this is for first page reads. And
yep,
hopefully, if we get enough submissions, we will do an episode of that before the end of the year.
yep.
If
Ah,
you are
so
on, well, if you are on the podcast, we will try to describe what we're seeing. But honestly, you should go over to YouTube so you can actually read along with us. It's just the best way to do it for the live edits. And while you're there, like, subscribe, share, all of that stuff.
do all those things.
Yep. All right, let's get
All
into it.
right, cool. As I said, this is a resubmission. So find out what the author has done with our edits. Can you see the Word doc?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Every single dragon rider can go fuck themselves with a splintered tree trunk. Pretentious, self-righteous jackasses bent on protecting us land dwellers from their floating continent of Dragonfall. I'm a master thief, and I want to be on the carriage to the floating continent. Someone had to hold them accountable, and destroying a few dragon eggs would do exactly that. Maybe escape with a proper count of their eggs if I can't destroy any of them. But first, I need to board, and that means dealing with the truth wizard. Name? A wizard asks. He wears a robe with a dragon rider's logo, a dragon with a man on its back. Okay, I'm going to stop here. The first paragraph still goes hard. That's good.
Hmm.
Um, the second paragraph,
Did we read this?
we did.
I'm struggling to pull this story up in my mind. I mean, I only read
It
30,000
was one of
stories
the
an hour.
first page reads, actually. It was one of the first page reads.
Yeah, I still should be able to pull it up. I'm usually better at that. I'm not seeing it.
The yeah, it was a first page read, and the first paragraph. I remember the first paragraph very specifically because I was like, "This goes hard." Like,
Yeah.
it's an excellent opening paragraph. The
Yeah.
problem is the second paragraph is too directly tally,
Well,
even for first person.
the first line is just, as you know, Bob dialogue. I'm a master thief.
Yeah.
Like, why? It's like me sitting down and talking to myself and going, I'm a writer. Um,
Yeah.
that's just, it doesn't, it's not natural. It doesn't,
And unless you
yes.
have a framing device, but so, and I think the author mentioned something in the email about them having a framing device, or they're planning on editing in a framing device where you're telling somebody the story,
Yeah.
then okay, but then it wouldn't be I'm a master thief. Because it still doesn't make sense that I don't know.
Yeah. And the funny thing is someone in the writer's room last night rewrote something, and when she brought it the first time, we were like, there's not enough tension here. And
Yeah.
it's a first person story. So last night she brought it in, and her edits were fantastic. It was just
Mm.
dripping with tension. It was exactly what it needed to be. But she wrote it in present tense. And she's like, yeah, I did that because it adds so much tension. And so I reread the first page back to them in past tense. And I didn't change anything but the tense. And I was like, do you feel the difference? And everyone was like, no, no, I don't feel the difference between the two. I'm like, yeah, the reason why there's more tension in this one than there was in your last one is because of your edits. Because of now how you've changed the pacing and changed the words and tense does not do that. And everyone thinks it does. Everyone thinks it does this thing that doesn't do. Now, we are not saying don't write in present tense. You want to write in present tense, write in present tense. We don't care. Our names are not on your book. It doesn't matter to us at all.
Yeah.
But in fairness of being people who feel like we should give advice, um, 30% of readers won't read first person. Now, different genres have different, levels, but
Yeah.
in our genres, in epic fantasy, present tense, I said first person, I meant present tense.
Yeah.
30% of the people won't read present tense. It's weird because even like, let's say you put the framing device on here. So you have framed that you are talking to me, that I am
Yeah.
here with you in front of me talking about this story that you're doing right now somewhere else. But you're here in
Yeah.
front of me right now, but you're
So
somewhere
why is it
else
in
right
first
now.
person? Yeah.
Huh?
So why is it in present tense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that is the reason, in my opinion, why 30% of readers won't read present tense because there's a weird mental disconnect for us. Like I can't read present tense because I'm
Mm.
like, I can't get over the fact of, wait a minute, you're here right now talking to me, but you're also over there doing something. As opposed to if
Yeah.
you're here right now telling me a story in past tense, I don't have that mental hiccup.
Yeah.
Now, again, not saying don't write it in present tense, knock yourself out, don't care.
Yeah.
I just really am on a crusade to try and dispel the misconceptions of why people choose present tense. It
Yeah.
doesn't make it feel more active. It doesn't
No.
make it feel like it's happening right now more than
No.
past tense does. It doesn't add tension. It does mean that 30% of your readers aren't going to buy your book just right out of the gate. Um,
Mm.
so that's I'll get off this
Yeah.
horse because I got on it
Yeah.
last night,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, yeah, and we've ridden this horse before, so let's not go too
yeah,
deep into it because yeah. But yeah,
yeah.
I'm also not a huge fan of present tense, but disregarding the present tense, even if this was in past tense, I
Oh
wouldn't
yeah, yeah,
write
yeah.
this paragraph
Yeah, no. The
because the
the
problem
I'm
with
a
this
master thief.
paragraph, yeah, the problem with the paragraph isn't the tense. It is the excessively, as you know, Bob telling that's going on here. Like,
But the
why?
funny thing is, it's actually only that first line. Let me read this to you and just omit
Yeah,
that first line. Every
okay.
single dragon rider can go fuck themselves with a splintered tree trunk. Pretentious, self-righteous jackasses bent on protecting us land dwellers from their floating continent of Dragonfall. Someone needed to hold them accountable, and destroying a few dragon eggs would do exactly that. Like it just flows right into it
Yeah,
without that.
yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Um,
It is actually just this line is the
it
problem.
really is. Um,
Kill that line. Just that
because
line needs to go.
because what you look for is you look for organic ways to work in this. So you're like, well, I need to get my reader that they're a thief. Okay, great. Um, have them pull out some thief pick tools and pick a lock.
Mm.
Have them, swipe something on their way before they talk to this, whatever, literally have them walk through a market and steal something. Like there's so many different organic ways to just let me know I'm a thief as opposed to telling me I'm a master. And master thief, that's like the opening paragraph is like, I'm for the little guy. And the next sentence is like, but I'm better than all of you. And it's like, talk about pretentious, self-righteous jackass. A
Yeah.
pretentious, self-righteous jackass is someone who says, I'm a master thief. So,
Yeah.
and
All right.
again,
So
all
I
subjective.
ma-
These are all
yeah.
just stupid opinions.
I made two edits to the paragraph. So the first two paragraphs now read: every single dragon rider can go. God, we've read this paragraph a lot. Can
I
go
know, but I
fuck
love
themselves
that
with a
paragraph.
splintered tree
Like,
trunk.
I know
It really goes hard. That
I
first
know we're
paragraph goes
bleeding
very
that
hard.
second paragraph, but that first paragraph is fantastic.
Pretentious, self-righteous jackasses bent on protecting us land dwellers from their floating continent of Dragonfall. Someone had to hold them accountable, and destroying a few dragon eggs would do exactly that. Maybe escape with a proper count of their eggs if I couldn't destroy any of them. But first, I need to board the carriage to the floating continent, and that means dealing with the truth wizard.
Hmm.
The present tense still reads hella weird to me, but
Yeah.
at least the I feel like now it gives us the information we need. It gives us motivation, establishes what we're trying to do, tells us why we're opening the story.
Yeah. Yeah. And that first paragraph does such a great job of in two sentences doing so much world building. It's not even funny.
Yeah,
Like it's
yeah, it's
fantastic.
great.
The only thing I might do is bring it back personal to me in that second sentence of the first paragraph. Maybe I could escape, or maybe I could at least escape with a proper egg count if I couldn't. And yes, I am switching it to past
Yeah.
tense because my brain can't do present. If I couldn't destroy any of them, so it still just keeps it personal to me. And there's nothing wrong with maybe escape at all in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know how to make that sentence work in present tense, so I'm putting it in past tense.
well, that's the problem with present tense, or that's one of the many problems.
Yeah.
But one of the problems with present tense is something happened before the now in a story. You
Yeah.
can't tell a story that's only, I mean, technically I do have one because I have one published piece in present tense. It was something I wrote for Sony, and it's this little kobold creature that I describe as a 3-year-old on crack. So it doesn't
Yeah.
know 2 seconds from now, and it doesn't remember 2 seconds ago. It literally, the entire story lives in a 3-second window that moves forward. And it worked really well in
But
present
that's
tense.
yeah, so I mean, I've got in my current work, I've got chapters that I write in present tense because those chapters are written in a place without time.
Right,
And the only thing that exists is the now, is this moment. Well, technically, all moments exist at the same time.
right.
And present tense works amazing for that because it's
Ex-
crazy and insane and it really does establish kind of what's going on
well,
just by the
especially
tension.
because in your book, when you have such a radical shift, so we're third person past tense,
Yeah.
past tense, past tense, past tense, and then all of a sudden we're in this weird, surreal present tense talking to a god kind of
Mm,
moment. And so
yeah.
the present tense adds to the weirdness. It makes the reader feel the oddity of the moment even more
Yeah.
than had you written
Yeah.
it in past tense. So there are reasons
Exactly.
in it. Someone in the peanut
Yeah.
gallery had asked, does present tense, and that's why, like Susan Collins said, she wrote Hunger Games in present tense solely because she wanted the readers to think that Katniss might die. And I'm like, girl, it's first person. Unless the
Yeah.
last 5 pages of your book are blank, the character lives and has to live because it's first person.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, maybe you kill her off and have the last 6 or 7, 8 pages of your book blank, and then no one knows what happened. No one knows actually how the story ends because your narrator died. But yeah, you're not fooling anybody when you're writing a first person story. It's just not
Yeah.
happening. Not that you can't. I mean, the funny thing is in that present tense story, I kill the character off, but you don't like that's it. The
Yeah.
narration ends. They die, and you don't know what happens in beyond that because they're
Yeah.
dead. I have seen people kill off first person characters, either past or present, doesn't matter,
Mm.
and then bring on a third person narrator that
Yeah.
says it. It's. I mean, Shakespeare did it in Hamlet, where
Yeah.
Hamlet dies. I mean, that's not first person, it's a play, so there's
Yeah.
really no POV, but it's kind of the same thought process.
Mm.
And then Horatio,
Yeah.
I mean, technically Prince Fortinbras
Monologues.
finishes up, but yeah, it gets monologued at the end what happened.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah. Anyway, so we're getting sidetracked. So the
yeah,
point is,
sorry.
I don't know how to write in present tense like that to make that sentence work in present tense to do what I
Yeah,
wanted to do. So I'm just going to put it in past tense and leave it up to the author to figure out.
yeah, yeah.
Um, all right. Name a wizard asks. He wears a robe with a Dragon Riders logo, a dragon with a man on its back. Okay, so I'm just going to stop here and say if you want to do that, it is way better to M dash that rather than make it a separate sentence. Because the problem with the way that it reads now as two separate sentences is that it has a staccato bullet pointy effect, and it reads as opposed to reading like smooth prose kind
Yeah.
of thing.
I mean, I might even recommend reworking the sentence to just he wore a robe with a depiction of a dragon or with a depiction of a man riding a dragon.
Yeah.
And then I would probably then put the Dragon's Rider logo after that because we describe it and then we designate it. I have another problem here though that I already wrote down so we can since you
Yeah.
paused. That's an insanely rough transition between 9 and 10, as in there's none.
Yes.
We go from this esoterical kind of like I'm just talking out my butt to I'm
Mm.
standing in front of a wizard.
Yeah.
So it would not hurt the reader to have a paragraph of setting the scene. You know, doesn't have to be much, even if it's something as kind of telly as which is how I found myself standing here on this thing near this thing looking at this thing. Just
Yeah.
anything that would help the reader ground themselves in the moment and then that. And again, it's just a rough transition. It's not the end of the world, but I think that it would do the reader justice. Because here's the problem with stuff like this while you're typing that. In your head book, as the writer, you see where this character's at. You see if they're on a platform or if they're in a city, building, street, whatever. You see it.
Mm.
But unless you show it to me or the reader, we don't see it.
Yeah. Yep.
So
So
to you,
I
this
just wrote here
transition,
like for the transition I just suggested something like which is how I found myself standing in the line for the stagecoach to Dragonfall.
right?
You know.
Just anything that helps us know that we're grounded. Because again, you see it, and so the transition isn't harsh on you, the writer. That's that head book,
Mm.
but the reader doesn't get the head book, so they're just
Yep.
floating out in nothing, and there's just a wizard there.
Yeah. Elliot Sinclair, I reply. He looks at my pass and taps his staff on the ground. Purpose of visit. Visiting my mother. She lives in Dare. The staff glows blue. Bored. To protect themselves, they send down wizards with staffs that detect truth and lie. Thank you, Captain Obvious.
Yeah,
That detect truth and lies.
yeah.
Blue
Thanks
obviously
for
me.
thanks for telling me what you literally just showed me.
Okay,
And
this is all.
you also called him a truth wizard.
Yeah,
So that is everything that any normal,
yeah.
intelligent human being is going to need. And then
This
yes, the red
this
and the
whole
blue.
paragraph does not need to exist until if you fight back, they kill you on the spot.
I mean, you
Like,
could have something to because that line does need setup.
yeah,
Like we know it's a truth wizard. We know he
yeah,
said visiting my mother. She lives in Deer.
yeah.
Maybe we set that up on which was all true because if it wasn't, they would have killed me on the spot.
Yeah.
So it does need a
Setting
little setup, but
setting up my mother in Deer had cost the bomb.
Yeah. Or whatever. There's a billion ways to do it.
But it was
It meant I
all
could it meant I could board this ship without them killing me for lying to
meant
them.
I could board this ship without them killing me for lying to them.
I don't even know if we need the to them.
For lying. And then I like this so much for our protectors because that's a nice callback.
Yeah.
So then the paragraph just becomes setting up my mother in Deer had cost a bomb, but it meant I could board the ship without them killing me for lying. So much for our protectors.
Yeah. Yeah. You
Because
definitely do not need to reiterate and tell the reader because you did a great job of showing.
we have literally just seen that they have truth wizards, that they have staffs, that they detect truth or lies, and that blue means you know like
This goes
that's what
in
blue means. You could
yeah.
leave the if you're married to it, you could leave red means getting pushed out of line and all but robbed.
Eh.
You could what?
I would leave that for a reveal because I'm hoping that at
Yeah,
some point in the story, this character says something to a wizard, the staff goes red, and everything goes sideways. So,
yeah,
like, because then when it doesn't glow blue, I'll know. Like, I already know that blue
yeah,
means good. So whatever color, it could be purple or fuchsia or you
yeah,
know teal, green, whatever. It doesn't matter what it is. I know that whatever color that's not blue is going to be
yeah,
bad.
yeah,
Um, but here's where this comes down to. This is a lot of growing in maturity as a storyteller
yeah,
because this is twofold. One, trusting yourself, trusting that you showed what the reader needs to do, and you did it in a way that they are going to get it, that they're going to understand without being spoon fed. And then the other
yeah,
side of that is trusting your reader that they don't need to be spoon fed. So it is
yeah,
just a maturing thing that lets you start realizing because when you're insecure and you're like, because my first published book, the number one mistake in it is I showed and then I told and then I told
yeah.
and then I showed and then I showed and then I told, like just over and over and over again. But I mean, it was my first published book, and I'm still growing and learning, and I didn't
Mm.
have that confidence of no, I showed this, you got it, I trust you, you're good. Um, and it's
I,
just
I,
building that confidence in yourself.
I will admit it's not a thing that I ever suffered from. I suffer from the other problem. I'm like, you
I
should have
give you
gotten that from that
nothing.
half word I gave you like 3 pages ago. What's wrong with you? Are you stupid or something?
Did you not notice how I punctuated that sentence? That should have told you that the truth wizards were going to kill him. Like you should have known. It was a fragment sentence. It was obvious. I give you nothing. Yeah, that is true. You did go the opposite. I
Yeah,
overshared, you undershared. But you know what?
yeah.
We grew, we came to the middle.
Between the two of us, there's a happy medium, I promise
There,
you. And this is the oversharing. So you don't have to overshare. When
yeah,
you've shown us, we get it.
yeah, yeah. And you did a great job with that. Like
Yeah.
that is active, it's in the moment, it's visual, it's gripping. Now, could you do something else with it? Yes. You could on
Sure.
15 have some emotion because they're like both of them look at the staff and he's like, "Oh crap. Oh crap, it's not I'm so screwed. Like before I even get here, I'm so screwed." And then it glows blue and it's like, "Oh, thank you."
Mm,
So you could put a small bit of tension right there to improve it.
yeah.
But even if you don't, the reader is going to get this.
Yeah. Absolutely. You don't need to explain anything to the reader. They've got it.
Yeah.
All right. Um, oh my goodness. We're right. He did set it up. Um, but okay, so let me just read paragraph 23. All right, my mother does live in Deer, and I bought her house. Some idiot prince stayed at a local tavern, and I snagged his crown. With royalty, always remember, long con. 6 months after the drunk lost his crown, I returned it. Even laid it on thick by saying refusing the reward got me double the amount they originally offered. And it's all for this moment, boarding the air carriage so I can destroy the current dragon eggs. I'm not the only one who hates dragon riders, with or without the support of the Thieves Guild. My plans pushed forwards. Okay. So, I like the intent of everything here, but not the length and the repetition. And what I mean by that is, we already know that this is the moment that it's for.
Yeah, I actually just think the paragraph on 27 to 28, and it's all for this moment. Again, that's thank you, Captain Obvious.
Yeah.
We don't need this. And here's the thing, though. Like right here in this 23 paragraph, which we do need a comma after dear, but this literally just showed me that you're a thief.
Yeah.
Like, so if you just omit the master thief line up there, when I get to this line and it said some idiot priest stayed at a local tavern and I snagged his crown, like, and then you also say I'm working with the Thieves Guild, you don't need to ever mention that he's a thief. You just show it.
Yeah.
So all of that is all right here.
Yeah, and I mean, you just take the paragraph we did up here, setting up my mother and dear, it cost a bomb or whatever, you replace that with this.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah, actually, you could just delete what you added because so much for our protectors, and then just go literally right into.
Yeah, so
all right,
you can go.
My
the
mother
staff
does
goes,
live in deer.
Yeah, the staff goes blue. The staff glowed blue. All right.
Oh no, so
my
much
mother
for our
does live in deer.
So much for our protectors works really well.
Yeah, yeah, you can leave
that.
That
Is
there.
A great
Okay,
callback.
So much for our protectors. All right, my mother does live in deer, and I bought her house. Some idiot prince stayed at a local tavern. I snagged his crown. With royalty, always remember, long con. 6 months after the drunk lost his crown, I returned it. Even laid it on thick by refusing the reward. Got me double the amount they originally offered. Perfect.
Yeah.
That's it. That's what we need to know. Beautiful in-character voice. I'm loving it.
The only missed opportunity is a little bit of world building on 22. All right, my mother does live in deer, and I bought her a house. And then something that says the stakes that were just done. Like, if I had lied, I'd be dead right now. And this, if you want to get meta, and the story would be over, and you'd be reading another book.
Yeah.
Just to get really meta. But yeah, I think that there's a missed opportunity. Not that you have to take it, but there is a missed opportunity to build the consequences of lying to the truth mage here. And that's, so here's the thing, and I've been talking about this a lot in the writer's room and a lot in my classes. You have to info dump. You have to. You have to teach the reader. You have to world build. You have to do all this stuff. What you don't have to do is 6 pages of encyclopedia of a definition of how your magic system works. You look for these little opportunities so that, yes, maybe I do a telly line after this line, but everything else is so showy, and you have a little line of course, if I had lied, that mage would have killed me on the spot. Like, little telly, whatever, but it's not about never telling. It's about telling when you need to, so that the reader doesn't really notice that you're teaching them. But what you're doing is teaching them. You're teaching the world, teaching the character, teaching the story, teaching the plot, you're just doing all this teaching, but you look for these organic moments to do it. Same thing with the thief. I'm not going to say I'm a master thief. I'm just going to show you that I stole some prince's crown. Later, I'm going to show you that I'm working with the Thieves Guild.
Yeah, especially if I can give you that information organically in the character's voice, as opposed to just a jarring telling lie.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Here we go. The dragons did nothing and took a lot. Dragons were ravenous, and no one outside of the riders knew why. Yeah, they were thousands of pounds of flying lizards, but it shouldn't take that much to feed their forces. It's a simple answer. They're lazy, and they don't want to leave their ivory towers. You see, you can't just go to Dragonfall. Even if you can afford the ferry to the floating continent, you still need to have the money to get around. Without the extra money or a place to stay, they reject you before you even get to the fucking wizard. They make it as hard as possible to visit relatives, much less move. So all I can afford is steerage. I feel like this author is telling me a lot of things I already know.
Well, there's some new stuff in there, but
Yeah.
if this was one of my people, I would be like, you can cut 30 to 37. This is more
Mm.
examples of, I guarantee you there's better organic places to thread this information in as it's happening. Um,
Yeah.
like we can get to the island and see this massive train of cows coming in or whatever, and that can lead us to talk about how much food do these they never even go anywhere. They're lazy sacks of lizard flesh, and like whatever, there's all this
Mm.
stuff that could just be organically done. Every bit of this is just an info dump. Both of
Yeah.
these paragraphs are info dumps, and I feel like there's got to be more organic plays. And the funny thing is this author has impressed me with and here's me doing exactly what you just said, Drake. Like they're in my head and prepping me for this.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I believe this author can do it if they just
I,
think about it and just look at it a little different.
they absolutely can, because they have.
Yeah,
They're
that's what I'm
just,
saying. It's all
yeah.
there. They've already proven that they can organically thread this
They can
stuff in.
absolutely organically give information. They're just choosing not to.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know if it's choosing. I think this is
Yeah.
that, oh, I never thought about it like that. No one ever
Yeah.
said that to me about, story. And also, that's the reason why I don't fear AI writing stories.
Hmm.
95% of all stories are written this way. And I don't fear AI because it can only write like 95% of all other authors, so I don't care about it. So yeah, you read other stuff, this is the way it's written. No one ever tells you this stuff. No one ever talks about this stuff about, organically threading it in, and look at how much more dynamic it is for the reader and so on and so forth. And so yeah, I don't think they chose to do it that way. I just don't think they've been enlightened on, dude, if you just
Mm.
think just just a just a tad different, you start going, oh, I can organically put this in here, and oh, look
Yeah.
at how awesome this is when this goes in here organically. And
Yeah.
and now the reader, instead of, because here, these two paragraphs, the reader knows they're learning.
Yeah.
They know it. Whereas
Yeah.
what we're trying to say is teach them all of this information, but they never realize they're being taught. They're just in a story and they're just consuming the story. Oh, look, all these cows. How much dragon food does a dragon? Yeah, how much food does a dragon? That's a lot of cows. Like,
Yeah.
then we feel like we're a part of the story. Yes, we're learning. I just learned that dragons eat a lot of food. But I didn't feel like you just said to me, hey, reader, dragons eat a lot of food. I don't know why, but they do. Like, there's a difference. It's a night and day difference.
Yeah. Should I
Yes,
continue?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'll get off my high horse.
No, but I agree with you on that note. And the problem is I feel exactly the same way about the next two paragraphs.
Mm,
um, they didn't search any of us. Almost everyone in steerage has little more than the clothes on their backs. If you listen closely, most of them are going up on work permits, bound into service to one of the dragon riders or lords. Just a technical issue. It doesn't work as fragmented sentence, in my opinion. If you
mm-mm.
listen closely, most of them are going up on work permits bound into service to one of the dragon riders or lords. Fuck them floaters and the riders that protect them. The dragons lift the chains that connect to the carriage, and we lift into the sky. No one is able to keep from trying to maintain their balance when the carriage shakes. Well, that isn't exactly true. I'm able, and three others. One is a fellow thief from the city of Solace, but the other two I don't know. Okay, so the reason why I say they're the same, or at least 38 is the same,
Yeah,
is
38.
you're just telling me.
Yeah.
Like, I like this line,
Yeah.
the fuck them
Because
floaters and the
that's
riders
very
that
much
protect
character
them.
voice.
Yeah, it's a great character voice moment. It's a good callback. It's like all of the character voice stuff is great, but like, show us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've been trying to get away from the word show because everybody's like, I don't understand that. thread
Yeah.
this in organically. Look for a spot where you can teach me this information because of the situation that's happening. And then I'm a
Yes.
part of the moment. I have two problems that I also marked out. Me personally, I don't talk to my readers. So the line on 39, if you listen closely, I'm reading a book. I can't hear anything. What are you talking about? And also,
Yeah.
if you just cut those first four words, almost everyone in steerage has little more than the clothes on their back. Most of them are going up on work permits, bound into service to one of the dragon riders or lords. Like, you don't even,
That's
why do
correct.
I need to listen close? Why are you bringing me into the story at all?
Yeah.
So it's not even needed. And then you have an echo on 41 with lift and lift. That's just not needed. First of
Yeah.
all, lift is a weak verb. We talk about that all the time. So when we talk about weak verbs, I think a lot of people misunderstand what we mean by weak verbs because it's like, well, what's a strong verb? What we mean is if the verb just does one thing, it's weak. So the dragons lift the chains. It gives us the visual of the dragons lifting it. It's one thing. You know, if we change it to a verb that, and you're going to use one term, one
Mm.
action verbs all the time. But like we lift into the sky, we lurch into the sky, which is going to paint. What does lurch do? It not only gives us the motion that we're going to the sky, but it also gives us a jerky feeling so that when we say no one is able to keep their footing, the lurch is going to play into that, where lift doesn't. And
Yeah.
so when we say use a stronger verb, what we mean is look for a verb that does the visual that you just did with whatever the weak verb is, but also has something else, some emotion, some extra, movie magic,
Sound or a feeling or a
sound, yeah,
something.
anything. So like lurch is right there. But, the dragons tug on the chains or, pull the chains taut, whatever. There's all sorts of
Mm.
words that we could use other than lift.
Yeah.
I do
You've
love
got an,
this. Look at how organic. And again, if we didn't say master thief, look at all this stuff.
yeah.
One is a fellow thief. That is an
Yep.
organic way because you're not saying I'm a thief. You're describing what's around me. So you're saying, "Oh, look, that's one of my fellow thieves." That means I'm a thief
I'm a thief.
because he's a fellow thief.
Yep.
So like that's what we're looking for. We're looking for these just really organic ways because what you're doing is teaching the reader that I'm a thief.
Yep.
But you don't have to teach the reader I'm a thief by going, I'm a thief.
Yeah. You
There's
can just
all these
show the
other
reader.
ways that you can do it.
Yeah. Then you just have an echo on line 44 where you say, but the other two I don't know. And then line 45 starts with the other two stand together. So you can say them.
Yeah.
They stand together.
Or the two strangers.
Or the two strangers or something, you know.
Yeah. There's
Uh,
there's other ways to do it.
yeah.
They I don't know if I would do a pronoun here because I feel like there's some ambiguity to it. And the big thing about pronouns is just eliminating ambiguity. And I feel
Yep.
like they could be the people that fell. It could be like there's a little bit of ambiguity. I mean, it does link
Yeah.
back. There's no problem, but I wouldn't. There's enough
Yeah.
ambiguity that I would do something like, you know, the two strangers stood together.
Yeah. 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 Or the two, so anything to just cut out the exact phrase that you just repeated,
Right.
basically.
Exactly. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. The other two stand together. A woman with the look of an alchemist, the square backpack and sounds of clinking glass bottles. These two sentences say the same thing.
Yeah.
Cut the first one.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I mean here, the first sentence says a woman with the look of an alchemist, which doesn't actually tell me anything. It doesn't tell me why she looks like an alchemist. The next sentence gives me that plus that she's an alchemist. The square backpack and sounds of clinking glass bottles point to an alchemist. So just cut this sentence. And then the whole thing would just read the two strangers stand together. The square backpack and the sound of clinking glass bottles on the back of the woman point to an alchemist.
Exactly. On the back of the woman, right before point.
Easy.
Hmm.
The man standing next to her is a.
There's
But
there's actually one more thing I want to talk about here. and what you just did. Because there is actually, to me, a huge difference in what you did and what the writer did.
Yeah.
The other two stood together. Okay. A woman with the look of an alchemist. A woman. Now, is that woman one of the two standing together
Yeah.
or not? You use the the
Yes.
the woman. So to me, that does paint a completely different picture or eliminate ambiguity. If I
Mm.
say the two stood together, the woman was this. Like that, the points directly to the fact that I just said two people are standing together. Whereas when you say a, there's some ambiguity there that's like,
Yeah.
is this a new woman? Because we are in a crowd of people. So be careful with that too.
Yeah.
Sorry. Now go ahead with
Yeah.
your.
Yeah. So it's just okay. So one sentence tells us, the next sentence shows us, and we
Mhm.
see the precise pattern in the next sentence. The
Yep,
man
exactly.
standing next to her is a bodyguard. How do we know? We don't know. We're just being told. Next sentence, two swords on his hips and a shield on his back. His head has those tattoos mercenaries use to determine rank and deeds. If I knew the tats well enough, he is a sergeant and sacks villages. Like, give me that. Skip the bodyguard part.
And also, how does that feel to him? Like, this is where you could do some world building. I'm taking liberties with your story. I don't know your story or your world, but like, if you cut that first one and you have, you know, the man standing next to her wore two swords on his hip, blah, blah, blah. And then at the end of it, we go, you know, a more weird choice for a bodyguard I couldn't imagine. And then that lets us know that the fact that he's this sergeant mercenary that normally sacks villages as a bodyguard for this alchemist, that's
Yeah.
strange. Now, again, I'm taking liberties. It might not be strange. It might be literally that's all they
Yeah.
employ. But again, you could world build there organically with a little voicey line that lets us know something about your world. Like, oh, look, the fact that this weird tattooed mercenary is this chick's bodyguard ain't normal. And I won't know it's not normal and because I'm not from this world unless you show me it's not normal. So
Yeah.
just
So yeah, so all that I did there was I used the same line. I just said two swords glittered on the hips of the man standing next to her and a shield on his back. His head has those tattoos mercenaries use to determine rank and deeds. If I knew the tats well enough, he's a sergeant and sacks villages. A stranger choice for a bodyguard I could not imagine.
yeah. So now we've world built, we've shown that he's a mercenary or and shown that he's a bodyguard. Um
Yeah.
Everything is in this stream of consciousness that like why do we talk about the tattoos mercenary? Why do we even call him a mercenary? Because his head has those tattoos that mercenaries use. We don't
Hmm.
say he's a mercenary. We're using the environment to logically have a train of thought that goes through the story that teaches the reader what they need to know, but feels engaging and inviting. And it doesn't feel like you're teaching to me, even though I just learned that mercenaries in this world have some weird head tattoos that they use to keep track of their rank and what they've done. Like it's there.
Yeah.
This writer is right on the cusp. They just need to build that trust in themselves that yeah, no, I'm showing you
Don't
this story.
don't don't tell me and show me. You're showing me. Trust
Yeah.
that I'm gonna get it. I will get it. I promise you I'll get it.
Now, you have readers that read something and they miss something, then that means you need to go back and do a little bit better of showing. But until
Yeah.
those readers are like, yeah, I'm lost. I don't understand. But
Yeah.
but everything this writer has written is perfect as far as the showing of this stuff.
Yeah.
By just, I mean, all we've done is cut the tell, and it
Yeah.
changed nothing in the story.
Yeah. Literally, we've just cut tells. Like
Hmm.
the shows are all there. You just need to cut the tells.
Yeah.
um, once the carriage settles, everyone stands up properly again. The dragons take 12 hours to get us from the surface to the floating continent of Dragonfall, and I hate this place already. Nothing this clean is ever this clean. As the carriage is set on the ground, we all move to the exit. People from the city of Marwell greet us with cheers. It isn't long before a series of guards start to check passes like they did on the ground, just in case someone slips by on the ground. Okay. Um, I'm a little confused about the flow of events here.
Mm-hmm.
We're down. We've 12 hours have gone. Nothing happened on the flight. We just stood there for 12 hours.
I mean, I have no problem with that. I mean, if nothing happened, nothing happened.
Nothing
I'm not
happened.
going to
That's
waste time
fine.
on it.
No, sure, but I mean, like, okay, so 12 hours have passed without anything happening. But okay, so and I hate this place already, sure. But then we say nothing this clean is ever this clean, but we haven't seen the cleanliness yet. So it feels a little like out of sequence. Why are the people from the city of Marwell cheering?
And also, where'd they come from?
Where'd they come from? Like, this is I'm not
There's
quite
no
clear on
scene setting.
the events here.
Well,
Yeah,
there's no scene setting, which was lacking in the opening.
yeah,
Was lacking in on the ship a little bit. We got the people, but we don't get anything of what the ship looks like.
mm,
We do know that there's two dragons attached to it, but we don't know what the dragons look like. Um, so the overall complaint that I have with this is scene setting.
mm,
However, I freaking love the line, nothing this clean is ever this clean.
mm,
Now, I would like to, you're 100% right. I'd like to see the city and see how clean it is, because then when you show me how pristine and clean and everything is, and he
mm.
says, nothing this clean is ever this clean. Now it has impact. But the line
Yes,
itself is freaking awesome. It just
yeah,
doesn't connect to anything. It doesn't have something that it's playing upon. Because now you're forcing me to just imagine that it's clean. And you didn't show it to me. I don't get to see the cleanliness. I just have to imagine it. And I promise you, when you have your reader imagine what something looks like, it will never be what you want nor what you need for the story. And so when you describe
yep,
something later that is different than what the reader imagined, they're going to go, oh, no, it doesn't look like that. You've made a mistake. You, the writer,
yeah,
have messed up your world because you said it was this other thing before, even though you didn't. They're not going to go, oh, it's on me. No, 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 no. I imagined something. So obviously you wrote it and now it's different. And so you have messed up.
yep,
So,
yep.
but I love that line
It's a
if it was
great
set
line.
up.
There's a lot of great lines in this piece, like
Oh,
genuinely.
and then the echo on
Uh,
ground, 55
yeah,
and
and then the echo
56.
on ground. Just watch the echoes.
And then the last thing on this, let's go up to 51. Now, I'm not against ly adverbs. I use them all the time, but there are three ways that I say don't use them. And one of them is when they don't change the mind movie at all. So if we read, once the carriage settled, everyone stands up properly again. You see everyone stand up. If we read, once the carriage settled, everyone stands up again. You see everyone stand. It literally changes
There's no
nothing.
improper way. Like, and I can't imagine an improper way of somebody standing up. So
It And so that's
does
one of the
nothing.
three ways that I talk about don't use an ly adverb when it just doesn't do anything. It doesn't
Yeah.
change the mind movie at all. It adds nothing to it. Now, if the writer's like, no, 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 what I mean is they brush themselves off and straighten out their
Mm,
clothing and all of that, okay, then show that.
yes,
Because no one's going to get that from stands up properly again.
properly. Yeah.
So that's just one of those ly adverbs that you're just wasting a word.
Yeah.
So if you think it's doing something it's not, then you need to do it. Or if you just added it because people add ly adverbs for no reason, then take it out.
Yeah. I mean, in today's economy, no one can afford to waste words.
That's right. I say all the time in the writer's room, I was like, okay, you see this comma that you have in this sentence? It doesn't get a comma, but don't throw that away because the sentence right below it, just move that comma so you don't have to buy a new comma because you'll just reuse it right there because that needs a comma because commas are expensive. And then I've said it so much. Someone this week went, "Oh yeah, no, I've actually fixed that problem because all the extra s's that I put on word words like towards and all that, I just cut them up and turned them into commas. The s." And I'm like, "That is very efficient, sir," because I'm constantly popping on the s on the word words. So it was fun.
Anyway,
We have a good
all
time
right.
in the writers' room.
uh, I read an erotica, not an erotica, but I read a spicy scene last week Sunday in my pod group, and I had the most interesting crew for it. I had one other woman and a whole room full of guys, and I was like, just get and it's a lesbian spice scene, right?
Mm.
And I'm just getting started on the spice part, right? And a late joiner comes walks into the.
Yeah,
It was very funny.
my Wednesday night group, most people refer to as the writers' room after hours because there's usually at least one spicy thing in there now. Or at least that's where the conversation goes. Because we went there last night on a story that had no spice in it whatsoever, but the conversation went there anyway.
One
So
of my one of the guys in my writing room was like, I think silicone in silicone dick needs an E on the end. Because otherwise
we get into some interesting conversations. There's no doubt about that.
you should
So
join us in the writers'
I
room.
was about to
Anyway,
say, so if you would like to work with me and Ree on a weekly basis and, have us read your stuff along with other members of the writers' room, you really should think about joining the writers' room.
yeah.
The links are down below. Right now, we're running $1. You can try it out for 2 weeks. Um, it is going to be $100 a month once we start, once we have, because we're rebuilding the programming and all this other stuff. So we're still in build mode. So right now, anyone who joins gets it for 50% off for life. And like I do a writing class in there every single month. You would normally pay $100 for that. I do a writing workshop once a month in the writer's room. You would normally pay $100 to $200 depending on how, where it was at and how long it was. I do 2 critique groups a week. I don't know how much you pay for those. I've never charged for them, but I've seen people charging $100, $50 to $100 for each one of them. Marie does once a week. Like for $50 a month, you get probably about $1,000 worth of monthly writing help. Not to mention all the other members that are there to help you out that are doing great. So head over to the writersroom.us. You can join for $1, try it out. If you end up downgrading, there is a free side. You don't get as much on the free side, but I do a lot with the free users. I just do things once a month. Like I do one critique group with the free side a month. So you don't have to pay anything to work with me
The
once a month.
the the free users can join this Zoom call
You can watch
that
this
we record
live.
on and
Hmm.
leave comments in the peanut gallery, and we will talk about afterwards. We talk about the episode and you know everybody's opinions and so on. So
Yeah.
you can do that too.
Yep.
Anyway, um, back to dragons. 20 dragons take off to the north, leaving behind the chains and carriages. Purpose of the visit: the guard snaps at me, getting my attention. Visitation: my mother lives in Deer. He checks my pass again. Do you have accommodations for the trip to Deer? It's 2 weeks by carriage. Booked with SeaWorld Safe Voyages, and Mom has a cabin. I didn't want to give too much away. SeaWorld doesn't cover your first night. Do you have money to cover an inn? I nodded. Yes, sir. Bought enough to eat if I'm hungrier than what they cover as part of the package. Good. You should have been told we don't do prisons. He hands back my pass. So if you get caught, you might be tossed off Dragonfall, if not eaten by a dragon. Expect to see a lot of dragons. Next, he points over his shoulder for me to move along. Okay. Um, I think you could do more with this line of 20 dragons. This line feels
Well,
like it's begging for more.
well, that is the MO. There's just no scene setting.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing anything. I don't see anything. I don't see this town that I'm in. I don't see the people that I'm in. You know, there's it's very bereft. Like we get the one guard, or we got the one mercenary, we got the one alchemist. Great. But like, what did the wizard look like other than having a dragon logo on his robes?
Yeah.
What did I don't even still even know what the place was. Was it some weird air dock? That would be cool to see. Did it have how were the carriages attached, or how were they sitting for us to board? Do they just have a pier that goes out off of a cliff over nothingness? Um, I don't know. All of this stuff could be used to help paint this picture.
Mm.
Same thing here. 20 dragons take off. Okay, what does that mean? What is a
Yeah.
dragon? Like, is it
This would
an
be a
Asian
really good
dragon?
place to give some description of, like, are we talking Chinese dragon? Are we
Yeah.
talking Western dragon? You know,
Are we talking your own
w-
creation of dragon? Are
yeah.
they
What
big?
are we
Are they
talking?
small? I mean, that'd be funny if they were like the size of fairies.
Yeah.
And when I learn that later in the story that they're only 6 inches long, I'm going to be like, nope, you lied to me
Yeah.
because I already created
Yeah.
them as big, fat, things. But it's bereft. That's the number one mistake that
Mm.
this writer is making, or not mistake, but the number one thing that I would push this writer to expand upon is taking me into this world and let me see it. You are the camera. If you do not show us, we don't see it.
Yeah.
You see it because it's in your head book. But if you
Yeah.
do not paint the picture for us, we don't see it. And we're just going to make stuff up.
Yeah. So you desperately need some scene setting in here. You desperately need a little bit more description, a little bit more detail, not just of the people, but also of, like, the things and the places and the buildings. Like, what does this carriage look like? What are the this sounds like some kind of space elevator. Like, how thick are the chains? How big is the city? Paint the scene.
Yeah. What does it
Yeah.
smell like? What does
Yeah.
it taste like? What does it sound like? There's only visual. What little is in
Yeah.
here is only visual. There's no
Yeah.
tactile, there's no smells, there's no sounds, there's no tastes. Um, there's no interiority really for the character. So those are the things. I mean, there's plenty for this writer to work on, but what they have is outside of the tells fantastic.
Yeah.
But I want to
I would not say they have no interiority. I would say that all of their interiority is focused completely on the philosophical.
yeah, it's voice. It's just character voice. It's not
Yeah, but
actual
that is still
emotions.
interiority. We have the character's world view, which
Yeah,
is a form of interiority.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. There's one layer I was
Yeah.
wanting more.
Yeah.
Um, so we're almost out of time, but I do want to hit one thing to kind of maybe this would be a good way to show what we have been talking about this entire episode. Go down to 67.
67.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So right here, we're talking to a guard, and I've just told him my mother lives here. That probably means that and plus he asked me a bunch of questions and I've got the answers already pre-done. That should show this guard that I've been here. So the
Mm.
line when he says, you should have been told, we don't do prisons. So if you get caught, you might be
Yeah.
tossed off Dragonfall eaten by a dragon. Expect a lot of dragons next. To say that to someone who has family that lives here, who already knows all the answers, who already knows what's expected, when is expected, how to get around, and so on and so forth, has already booked his passage, already brought his food, already brought like everything, anything that could be a snag for a first time visitor, this guy has shown that he is not a first time visitor.
Yeah.
So, as written, it is all as you know, Bob dialogue. Now, how do we do this organically? What there's a million ways, but here's one idea. I'm standing behind someone with big wide doe eyes. It's like, what, and then the guard's like, first time on what is it called, Dragonfall,
Dragonfall.
and he's like, how'd you guess? I'm like, yeah, I've been at it a while. And he's like, do you have this? Oh, what? No, what? And it's like, all right, remember, we don't have any prisons. You screw up, you're gonna die. Expect to see a lot of dragons next. And so
Yeah.
you can get all of this information in here, and then it's really organic because it's this idiot bumbling dude that has never seen this place before. And then now I step up and it's like, question, yeah, got it. Question, oh, okay, move along. Like it just would, this feels like this information is for the reader. It's not for the guard. It's not for me, the character.
Yeah.
It's for the reader. As opposed
Yeah.
to you could do the exact same thing, change literally nothing, but have him say it to someone who is obviously new. And then when I get up there, you don't have to repeat any of it because he's just like, nah, you've been here. Good. Thank
Yeah.
you. It's so nice to have somebody, I wouldn't say any of that stuff, but I'm saying this is the motivation of the guard would be, thank God, I didn't
Yeah.
have two idiots in a row. Um, and then you get away from the fact that, again, it's all about looking for tricks that teach the reader information but don't make them feel like you're teaching them information. So
Mm.
this way right here, it makes me feel like you're teaching me something. If I watch some idiot do it and then I step up and nothing happens, I don't feel like you're teaching me anything. But guess what? In both scenarios,
I've,
I learned the exact same thing.
yeah. I have organically learned in both situations.
Yeah.
One of them, I've learned in both situations. One of them is organic. And you know what they say? Organic food ain't fattening. So.
I'm not sure anybody says that.
No, I know they don't.
But hopefully that's a really good mental exercise
Yeah.
of changing your thought process to use the story actively to teach the reader what you need them to teach or what you need them to learn versus just puking the information at them. And yes,
100%.
dialogue does hide info dumps. It doesn't here, but it can. But this doesn't. This just feels like,
Yeah. This
as
is
you know,
as you
Bob
know, Bob.
dialogue. Yeah. As you know,
I,
since you've been here, obviously many, many times, we don't have prisons because you should have been told that before now because it's obvious you've been here bunches of time. So, as you know, if you get caught,
yeah.
we're probably just going to throw you off the cliff or have a dragon eat you because I mean, I know you know that because you've been here before. I'm telling it to you anyway. Um, Now, because I always have that voice in the back of my head who is screaming that I'm a hypocrite at all times. Maybe the writer's like, no, 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 no. The guard is under orders to say this stuff every time. Well, if that's the case, you can show me that um, by showing me his exasperation for having to say it twice or whatever. And then
Exactly.
what I call that is giving the reader permission. So when you give the reader permission to know that he's just repeating himself over and over and over again because of how he acts, what he does, how the character reacts to it, like, dear God, every time I come up here, they say the same. They're like robots. That
Yeah.
gives the reader permission to go, oh, they say that every time. So yeah, of course
Yeah.
it's going to sound like, as you know, Bob dialogue because that is the world.
It
And
literally
again, that
is.
feels more organic than what's here.
Exactly. So either make it feel organic or have him say it to the guy in front of him on the line.
Yeah.
And I think like my key advice to this author is two things. One, trust yourself. Your showing is fine. Stick with the showing. Two, do more scene setting. And
And I would
that
just
would be
add,
my advice.
I'm sorry, what?
I'd say that would be my advice.
And I 100% agree. And I would just add, um, I'd like to know more than the only thing that I know about this character is that he hates Dragon Riders and he hates them and he hates them and he hates them and he hates them. I would like to know, like, is it cool to fly in a carriage pulled by dragons? I mean, as much as I hate these Dragon Riders, I mean, this is kind of a cool way to travel. Like, does he have any other feelings other than I hate Dragon Riders? I hate Dragon Riders. I hate Dragon Riders. I hate Dragon Riders. So I still think it's lacking in interiority as well. If you give us that, he would become more of a three-dimensional character as opposed to, and he's not a two-dimensional character, so I don't want to say that. Um,
He's a
but
he's
he's
a he's a
definitely
one-track minded
single-minded.
character.
He's
Yeah,
definitely
very
single-minded.
single-minded.
But man, whoever this writer is, you have got so much good going on. Like just a couple, and this is not changes in your writing. This is changes in how you think about your writing. Everything we talked about today is a thought process. And so you've like the what we added one comma, we changed one fragment to a not to a phrase connected to the sentence before. Like grammar's awesome, paragraph structure is good. Um, like you've got it. You've got it going on. Now it's just becoming that storyteller that sucks that reader in and holds them.
Yeah.
And the tellingness pushes us away. It makes us get bored. You know, those couple of paragraphs, it's like, yeah, I've got to go do this thing for the wife. This is a good place to stop. And then who knows if I come back to it, you know?
Yeah.
So a lot of good with this writer, a lot of good. And I think if they just change a few little things in their thinking, they're going to get there. Like this is
Yeah.
right there on the cusp.
I think
Some
so
good
as
stuff.
well. I think this is really good stuff. Well done. And
Yeah.
I think that that is a good note on which to end this episode. We
Yep.
will see you soon for another one.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in. This is Marie Mullaney, your co-host on this literary adventure. Our goal is to provide you with valuable insights and discussions on writing. If you believe in our mission, please like and subscribe our podcast. Sharing our episodes with your community not only helps us grow, but also contributes to a richer, more diverse conversation about storytelling. We appreciate your support. For a deeper understanding of the topics we've discussed, head over to Just in Time Worlds on YouTube. It is a treasure trove where fantasy meets history and science. Every Tuesday, you'll find new videos that delve into the intricacies of world building, drawing from our rich real-world history. Whether you're a writer, a role player, or just a fantasy enthusiast, Just in Time Worlds offers unique insights that will enrich your perspective. Check it out and join the journey of crafting incredible worlds.
If you are ready to take your writing to the next level and work with a group of highly motivated, dedicated writers who are all working to not only improve their writing, but improve your writing, plus you get to work with me on a weekly basis, then I'll encourage you to check out writersroom.us. This is a website that I have created that I really wish I had 30 years ago. It's everything a writer needs to become a better writer. Not only do we do weekly critique sessions, both from other members as well as me, we have daily writing sessions, I do monthly classes, Q&As, we have activities, I do all sorts of learning exercises, such as I do a quarterly writing prompt contest, and just tons and tons and tons of things. So if you're ready to get serious about your writing and you want to actually finish that novel and have a chance of it being published, then I encourage you to head on over to the Writer's Room and join me there. And as a special promotion for listeners of Releasing Your Inner Dragon, I'll go one step more. If you would like to get 50% off for 3 months, reach out to me. There's a million ways you can do that. You can do it through starvingwriterstudio.com, drakeu.com, any of my social medias such as LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, X, whatever. Reach out to me, say that you would like to check out the Writer's Room for 50% off, and I will send you a link that will allow you to do just that. So hopefully you're ready to start getting serious about writing, and I'll see you in the Writer's Room.